Man, I am on just such a roll today. You have no idea. 2 videos in one day! But this one is for a game review. This game is for the PlayStation 3, and it is called Catherine. You can also play this game on the Xbox, if you have one. And it is great. It is by Atlas. And it is I want to call it a psychological horror thriller kind of game. It is rated 17 and up, so for those parents out there who are looking into seeing whether or not this game is a game that should be played by children, well, now you know. Not that you're probably looking at this video, because if you wanted to know, you could just look at the trailers and pretty much get an idea all on your own. But anyways, it's a psychological thriller kind of game, and there are 3 different outcomes to the game. Now, I just beat this game the first time, so I only have 1 outcome in this game. But I do at least know of the other outcomes. Not that I've seen them. Let me see. There's not. Okay. When you are playing the game, a lot of times a little meter will pop up. I'm sorry to say that it is not on here. Actually, let me check the art book. I'm pretty sure it's not on here either. But I will check, just in case. You never know. Yeah, no, it's not on here. I was looking through this, just so everybody knows. But there's a little meter that shows up, and every now and then, actually not every now and then, quite frequently, you will get asked questions. And they can be the most randomest things on the planet, like, would you rather be a dog or a cat? And depending on your answer, it will go from good or bad, right? They are moral questions for the most part, and then randomly you get some random stuff that it's kind of impossible to tell. But depending on where the gauge is going to depend on what your character will do. The dialogue will change based on where the gauge is at the time. So if you are towards the good end, more than likely you are going to have Vincent, that's the main character, Vincent. You will more than likely have him leaning towards thinking positively and trying to win back his girlfriend, Catherine, spelled with K. Let's see. Here's a good picture of her. Right, this is Catherine, his girlfriend. Has been his girlfriend for 5 years. Has been her boyfriend for 5 years. Sorry, that did not make sense. But he accidentally has an affair with this girl, also named Catherine, but with a C. And basically, the moral gauge is deciding whether or not you are going to end up with your girlfriend, or your affair, or if you're towards the middle, you're not going to get either of the girls. Which, the outcome that I got, I purposely went for the good end of the gauge, which, believe me when I tell you, even if you're not trying to, a lot of the answers can send you towards the negative, because they're so random and you can't really tell. So, there's this beautiful thing called saving before you answer a question. And if you don't like how that outcome came out, then you start up from where you last saved off and redo the question. And yeah, so that's that. Most of the story, when you're not doing the puzzles, you have to climb towers, which, actually, here's a good picture. I don't know if you can see it, though. Kinda, not really, sorta. If you can see it, probably not very well. It's blocks. You are moving blocks to the side, up, down, out, pushing them away, to get to the top. That's how the game works. You can't proceed forward until you do. When you're not having the nightmares, which is when you're doing the puzzles, you are usually in the bar. There are cutscenes that you get to enjoy watching. Some of them are long, some of them are not. But when you're in the bar, you need to talk to the people in the bar. If you don't, the game will not proceed forward. So you might be thinking, oh, I'll just, get Vincent drunk and out the door I go. Which, by the way, you want him drunk because your character will move faster when he's having the nightmares. That's important. Other times, oh, just 1 second. Good grief, Kitty, you are persistent. Okay, out you go. In the bar, drink, move faster. But yeah, no, you don't just want to get him drunk. You do want to get him drunk, but there are other things that you need to do. You need to talk to various people because you need to understand what their storyline is going, and sometimes you get asked a question or you have to make a choice on trying to either be morally supportive for them or tell them to be quiet, shove it, go away, whatever. And of course that's going to make the gauge move. But you need to talk to them, because if you don't talk to them, you don't get the text messages from both Catherines, and you need to respond to those. Mainly you need to respond to the girlfriend, Catherine, because she tends to call you, as do most girlfriends. But depending on how you respond will be whether or not she'll call you. Yeah, it's basically just, you get asked a bunch of questions, morally. The gauge moves, will depend the outcome on how your ending is going to be. And it's puzzles. If you like puzzles, this game is for you. If you like trick blocks that will shoot up spikes, turn into bombs, become brittle and break, there's a couple other blocks, but I'm too lazy to mention them. Well, there's ice blocks and a couple other things. If you like the challenge, if you like the puzzles, if you like challenging your brain, this is the game for you. It's basically, dating. Except you get to decide how it's going to turn out. So, it's fun. And the soundtrack is amazing. This does not come with the game. Sorry. Unless you specifically get it. Now, if you buy it in a game store, the video game, there's a 90% chance you're not going to get the soundtrack. I bought this online, and I specifically made sure that the soundtrack was included. You can do that. I did do that. And so I have the soundtrack, and it's amazing. The soundtrack comes in a little art notebook, right? So you get pretty pictures. There's the CD, and you get a whole bunch of pictures that I'm not gonna just show you one at a time because you should get it yourself. You can get the deluxe set online. I don't know where else you can get them. I think you can get them on game stores. I have no idea. But basically, you still get the game, you still get the soundtrack and the art book, but you will also get a pizza box. I don't know why. And you'll get boxers because Vincent plays through the game in boxers. And you will get I think you get one more thing, but I'm totally blanking right now. I think it's... Oh, it's a t-shirt. You get a t-shirt. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty fun. It's a great game. The music is amazing. It apparently comes from a different game that I don't remember the name of, also made by Atlas. I may or may not eventually get my hands on it. Yeah. That's about it. It's epic. You should try it. I don't know how the other outcomes turn out. I could do reviews on them, but I'm not going to. But yeah, you should definitely play this game if you have a PS3 or an Xbox. Yup. That's it.